Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back in Tuck Rule Takes, episode 105, the home of your 2-5 New England Patriots. And how convenient the number two, Liam, because there's only two of us tonight. Al Nahegan here, Liam McDade here, Mike Sullivan. All right, Liam, let's call it spade a spade. Mike picked the worst week not to be here.
Yeah. Yep, of course. It's probably that's why we won, I would imagine. The football gods look down upon us. They're like, all right, Mike, clearly if he was around for this episode, he'd be too fired up. You and me would probably not get a word. He'd be talking about how, they're gonna go 12-5, sweep the playoffs, win the Super Bowl, Mac will throw 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and you and me we'd be standing here in stunned silence. So it's a blessing. The football gods sprinkled some good fortune on us and made him drive from the Carolinas all the way to the Great White North of New Hampshire. It sounds terrible. Good luck to Mike. We miss him, but
We do.
Army of two today.
Let's go. So, by the way, just join with me in celebration because the Patriots actually won a football game.
They won a fucking
Let's
football game. And not only that,
go.
they look good. They look really good. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
All right, so let's break it down a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Patriots came into this game against the Buffalo Bills, 1-5 coming in, 7.5-point underdogs coming into the game. Patriots get the ball first. So, first of all, they won the game 29-25. Mac Jones throws a last-second touchdown, not last second, literally, but 12 seconds left to Mike Gesicki. Pretty much was. To Mike Gesicki, first touchdown, first gritty of the season for Gesicki.
Yeah, I thought there would be a lot more of those by this point, but I will take it.
Oh my God! Did you see Mac and Hunter Henry on that celebration? They looked like little kids not knowing how to move their feet. They looked like the penguins from Happy Feet. That's exactly what
Mac
they
especially. I was like, dude, like, I don't know what you're doing. It's not the gritty, which is fine. I think the gritty looks stupid anyway, but he just looks so funny. He's just like stomping up and down. I was like, this is awesome. They were just, it was clearly they were so happy. Like that was like true, like you can't control yourself type bliss. And I love to see like everyone having fun out there, especially when we get a fucking win. I would imagine they have that feeling. So it was so much fun just to watch.
Oh, and a big upset win at that too. So let's break the game down a little bit more. So Patriots get the ball first. They drive down, kick a field goal.
Yep.
Very first play from scrimmage, Liam's boy, Josh Allen, first play, throws a pick to Jabril Peppers. Patriots drive down. Ezekiel Elliott gets into the end zone for a touchdown, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm leaving it at that.
Please. Okay, good.
I'm going to leave it at
excellent.
that.
All right.
Patriots get up 10-0. And then, it kind of goes back and forth a little bit. Like, Patriots get a field goal, Bills get a field goal. Patriots are up 22-10, and it looks like they have the game in hand, right?
Yep.
Wrong. Way wrong. So
because we can never win easy. Even with Tom Brady and the great teams, we couldn't win easy. So we should have saw this coming. But proceed.
We should have is right. So Patriots are up 22-10. There's about 8-9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Bills go down. They score pretty quickly, which, by the way, just one thing about the defense really fast before I finish the recap. We couldn't tackle to save our lives on Sunday. Nobody could make a tackle.
No.
Nobody.
Did you see, I assume this is the touchdown you're talking about, the Stephon Diggs touchdown?
Yep.
Yeah, so do you see J.C. Jackson's tackle attempt?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, the guy's sliding on the ground. The guy's literally on the ground. Just put 2 hands on him. That's all you gotta do. And it wastes more clock and everything else, but they don't think like that. They're just dumb.
He was sitting on his ass with his arms around his waist. Then he just takes his arms off him and sits there because he assumes Diggs is down. And I'm like, dude, that is piss poor effort. That's fucking terrible.
Oh, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. But Bills score. They make it 22-17. Patriots get the ball back. Mac Jones makes a completion to Kendrick Bourne. Bourne fumbles. Bills recover. Bills score. Convert the 2-point conversions. 25-22. Less than 2 minutes left. And Liam, you gotta admit this. When that play happened, when they scored, and when the Bills then converted 2-point conversion, you're just laughing. I know I was laughing maniacally. Yeah. I'm like, okay, game's over. Like there's no way. Like, let's embrace the tank fully at this point. They're gonna go 1-6, whatever. But then some things start to happen.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson, little screen pass, takes it 30 yards, and a penalty on the Bills in the same play gets you down to like the Bills 30 with like a minute and a half left with a timeout.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is completing third down conversions to Hunter Henry.
Yeah, at that point, I think it's an overtime game. I'm like, all right, there's no way we're scoring a touchdown here. I feel like John Madden. We play for overtime.
Yep. And then I don't even remember what first down play they ran. I think it was a pass. Actually, it was a quick pass. I think it was incomplete.
Yep.
And then Mike Gesicki with the advantage, 6'6" of just tight end beauty.
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember this, Liam. Do you remember in 2019? And the only reason I know this is because I was at the game with my girlfriend and I think her family. We were at that game. It was the Miami game. So it was 2019, week 18, or week 17, sorry, because it hadn't been 18 yet.
I
Week
know
17
exactly
against
the game.
Miami, Mike Gesicki scored the touchdown late in the fourth quarter to knock the Patriots out of the bye. And then the Patriots had to play the
Yeah.
Titans, and then they
Ruined
lost, and that was
home
Brady's
field.
final game. Brady's final game, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Mike Gesicki scored his first touchdown as a Patriot in almost the same exact spot as when he did it as a Dolphin against the Patriots. A full
Yeah.
circle moment there. Isn't that crazy?
It does. Comes full circle. Yeah. Incredible route. Great footwork off the line. Beats him to the back of the end zone. It's kind of what you expected when we got him. We haven't seen too much of it yet.
Absolutely. So I just want to give a quick opening take, and then obviously, Liam, we'll deep dive into like everything with the game. But
Yeah.
my opening take is that offensive line that you trotted out there, Liam. That's your offensive line the rest of the
Yeah.
year if
Oh, it
healthy,
has to
and
be.
that means Trent Brown from left to right. Trent Brown, Cole Strange, David Andrews, Sidney So, Mike Nwenu. Mike Nwenu has to stay at right tackle.
Yeah.
He is the only one that can handle it. Now, I know we joke about it. You know, Mike especially will joke about it. Like me and him were big on Nwenu. You at first were unsure. But Nwenu, I mean, for a guy that's versatile that can play guard and the tackle positions, you basically play 4 out of 5 positions on the line.
Yeah.
But now you shore up that right tackle position. You're shoring up that spot for Mac. And then you can also, if you want to, if City So can continue to be, efficient, you can run the ball even better. But you got to keep that offensive line exactly how it is. Don't change it. Don't keep flipping it around unless there's injuries. But if they're healthy, keep it that way.
Yeah, I
Keep
mean,
it.
I think that's a no-brainer. The line was the best since week one. I guess basically since the third quarter of week one, we haven't seen any consistency from then on. Basically, that's when the Eagles started getting pressure, and nothing's held up after that. We had he's got a complicated, what is it, Lowe, who was in there the last 2 games.
Vidarian Lowe,
Vidarian Lowe, he's
he's
terrible. He's fucking
swing
awful.
and a
Yeah,
miss.
yeah,
Another swing and a
absolutely.
miss by Belichick on that one.
Yeah,
Sorry. Like, you got to.
he's like a lazy TSA agent. He's like, go through, go through, go through. Doesn't care how many bombs you got in your pocket. He's terrible. I couldn't stand seeing him out there. So this is obviously, it's a no-brainer. This is the line you have to go with. Of course, like you said, there's a big caveat though. If everyone's healthy, that's the line you go with. We wouldn't have had Lowe in there in the first place if everyone was
Right.
healthy the whole time. So it's
Yep.
easier said than done, but the blueprint's there. They proved they can be a competent team, and it led to success at all points of the offense. Obviously, we weren't rushing for 100 yards or killing it on the ground, but we got important first downs. We got touchdowns when we needed them in the run game. The offensive line did, I don't even want to say the bare minimum, but they were just very solid. Like they gave you a damn good effort, and that's all
They
we've been
only
looking
gave up.
for.
They only gave up one sack on the
Yeah,
on the on the whole day. One
100%.
sack. That's it.
And I don't know if that's an indictment on a good offensive line that's starting to build cohesion, or a not a very good Bills defensive line who just lost Matt Milano.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of both. And they didn't have Ed
Yeah,
Oliver in that game either at defensive tackle, so that was a big loss for them. But I do think it's a
yeah,
combo of both.
certainly. Like all things, the answer usually lies somewhere in the middle. So
Right.
I think it is a testament to that. But oh my God, dude! Like just if we can, take a step back and look at the broader spectrum of the whole game. What a fucking game. Like, the whole
I
thing
know.
was excellent. Everyone finally looked confident. Everyone finally looked like they knew what they were doing out there. People seemed like they had watched film this week, and I was at the game. It was glorious. I felt like a friggin' miracle worker. I'm like, damn, I can't
Yeah,
believe
you son of a
this
gun.
is
You
the
got to see
game.
it firsthand. Unbelievable.
Oh,
So you saw it firsthand. You were in Gillette Stadium. You actually got to
yep.
see the first win with the new lighthouse. So kudos to you.
Yeah,
That's a little bar trivia that you
crazy.
can give
That
people.
is.
What game was it? What was your biggest takeaway from the Patriots win? If you could narrow it down to, a part of whether it was the special teams, whether it was the defense, the offense, a specific player, coach. What was one thing that really stood out to you in this win?
like those people who become drug addicts and they go into recovery and go to their AA or they go to whatever rehabs they do and they throw all their faith in Jesus. I want to be like that and say, put all my faith in Lord Belichick and say it's because of Belichick and it's because of this great defense, but that is not where I'm going to go with this because I don't have a lot of confidence in the Bills. I don't like Josh Allen. I don't think he's very good. I think, worse defenses would have done almost the same thing. I have to say the number one thing for me is play calling. The play calling was finally alive. We got the end around to Demario Douglas. He's getting involved multiple times. Kendrick Bourne is running the routes that he has success in. We saw nothing, nothing of Devontae Parker, which is the best play call you can put out there. And like I said, our runs, while not tremendously effective, worked when we needed them to. We ran the ball efficiently on short yardage situations. We got it into the end zone with Zeke. The swing out to Ramondre Stevenson at the end, we are just putting our players in positions and in space and letting them succeed, letting them do what they do. It was a completely different offensive game plan that I've seen even in the first 2 weeks when we had marginal success against two good teams. This was the most exciting play calling I've seen so far.
I got to agree with you on the play calling. You got to give Bill O'Brien his flowers for this game. They had a
Yep.
great game plan. A couple stats just to kind of keep in mind that actually really stood out after this game. Kendrick Bourne on ESPN was ranked the 11th best receiver in the NFL right now,
Jesus
outside of the
Christ.
top 10.
Really?
And by the way, yeah, I remember you guys were laughing at me saying that you didn't think Kendrick Bourne would be part of this offense.
Yeah, I
So,
specifically remember laughing in your face.
yeah, so egg on your face because he's been probably their best receiver out of just about anybody on this Patriots team. I mean, granted, the Patriots, I mean, they don't have that number one receiver, but
Certainly.
like I said, Kendrick Bourne has the chemistry with Mac Jones. Like it's there and you just
Yeah.
see it. And it's a shame that it's probably not going to be there for that much longer because he's either going to get traded at the deadline or they're going to let him walk at the end of the year. There's no in between.
Yeah. I, yeah, it is kind of the writings on the wall. Unfortunately, there's an expiration date to this, but you said he's probably the best. Let's not even dance around it. He is the best receiver that we got. He's the one who's been able to consistently produce week in and week out. He's caught the most touchdowns by far for a wide receiver anyway. Hunter Henry's still putting up the good numbers, but I love him. He's great. Like I knew he was going to score. I actually placed my first bet since quitting, and of course I did not do it on my book because I did not reopen my book. But my buddy had DraftKings. We both put $25 on Bourne touchdown because he's the only one who's been able to consistently do anything. Even in the games we get smoked, he's out there catching passes.
That must have
Uh,
felt nice.
it did. It was very nice. So $25 won me 75. Nice little chunk of change for me. Paid for a couple of my $13 beers that I got at the game, and then the Patriots won. So it was a glorious day of winning all around. But while we're on the subject of Kendrick Bourne, it's the same old story, and there's a
It
reason why
is.
there's an expiration date on this because he had that fumble that let the Bills get back into this game.
He
High
did.
mountains and low valleys, just like we said. What was it the Jets? No, it was the Eagles game. He had that terrible drop when Mac was under
Yeah.
pressure. It hit him right in the forearm or basically in the hands, but he'll make the incredible plays. He is the best receiver that we got. Arguably the most dynamic between him and Pop Douglas. And it's like, man, if you can just cut out some of the dumb mistakes. It's why I got mad at Zeke in week one when he fumbled. It's like, dude, you can't expect me to be happy about the little things that you do right for this team that isn't having a lot of success if you end up giving the ball up. If you give the ball up once in a game, that cancels out almost all the good things you do.
Yep. So I'm going to say something about this receiving core. And I know Mike's going to hate it when he hears this.
Probably.
I know you might not like it, but I'm going to throw out just an idea at you for 2024, just while we're on the topic.
Yep.
What if you came back in 2024 with this receiving core? Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne,
Okay.
and you ready for this one? DeAndre Hopkins.
You're still on the DeAndre Hopkins train?
Here's why. Here's why. Listen to me on this. The Titans are apparently shopping around everybody. That means they're veterans. They're going to look to shop around Derrick Henry, excuse me, and they're willing to shop around DeAndre Hopkins because obviously the Titans are, very veteran heavy. They're not going to really go
Yep.
anywhere this year, so they want to rebuild for the future too.
Yeah,
They're
they
on the
just
cusp
traded
of
their
winning.
best defensive player.
Yeah, Kevin Hayard or whatever, the safety.
Fired to the birds,
Fired, sorry.
baby.
Yeah, oh
Fucking
yeah.
right. Birds, baby.
Yeah, because you're an
Yeah, he's
Eagles
gonna
fan.
be sick. Yeah, he's gonna be sick.
You make me cry because you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, sounds
But
like a you problem.
it could be a me problem. But the reason that I'm mentioning Hopkins is because you could pull off a trade realistically where you could give up either Juju Smith-Schuster and pay for the contract, pay for like 75% of the contract. Like, yeah, you're going to have to eat some money. It is what it is. Or you could trade Devontae Parker, who you just signed to an extension, trade him to Tennessee, throw in a draft pick, and you could honestly, like, Parker's deal is pretty team friendly. And I don't think he really has a role here going forward. So
Yeah.
what if you traded for that number one receiver and then you had Hopkins and Bourne and Booty and Douglas next year, along with Hunter Henry? Because let's face it, Hunter Henry should be here next year. He's a captain on this team. He's
Yeah.
one of the most reliable red zone threats. And Farrell Brown's carved out a role for himself as the backup tight end. Like Mike Gesicki, it wouldn't surprise me, Liam, and I love Gesicki. Wouldn't surprise me if he got traded at the deadline. Would not surprise me.
That'd be bold.
It would
Yeah.
be, but would it be so bold because of how Brown's been doing in his recent role?
No, not like, yeah. I guess it makes sense in that circumstance. Yeah, it's just, it would be wild for me to think that we only have Mike Gesicki for half a year, but obviously
I
we're
know.
2-5. Like, we're not doing anything, so I would be surprised, but, not blown away, and I certainly wouldn't hate it, I guess. I wouldn't love it either. But Farrell Brown, yeah, I mean, he's just like any other Patriots player, came out of nowhere in two spectacular catches once again, 25 yards a catch, two catches for 51. I love him.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's reasonable. For the DeAndre Hopkins thing, yeah, like obviously I'd love DeAndre Hopkins.
Of course, we
We
would,
suck. Yeah.
and I would not have brought this up, Liam, if I didn't see the reports that the Titans are willing to trade away their veteran pieces and shop them around.
Yeah.
Because at that point, and plus two, real quick, just before you
Yep.
mention that point,
Nope.
the Patriots have a ton of cap space, a ton of cap room next year. They have a ton of money to spend in the offseason. Hopkins would be on the second year of that deal. So you would have him for a year. And then if you want to get rid of him, you can get rid of him at the deadline.
Yeah.
Or you can get rid of it or let him walk after the season, whichever is beneficial to you. Or if you keep him and he does well, you want to give him an extension, give him another like 1 or 2 year extension. You don't have to commit to him like a 5 year deal. I'm not saying give him the big money on a
Certainly.
5 year
No,
deal.
no, I get it. Because I don't
But
think he's largely as effective as he was last year, and obviously there's shoddy quarterback play over there.
right.
I totally see what you're saying. It's just so hard for me to. We're in
I
week
know.
7. Like we chased him all off season. That was
We did.
our news. Each time we got on this episode, we are checking the status of DeAndre Hopkins, and it broke my heart. And I was ready to move on. And now he comes waltzing back into my life again, 7 weeks into the season. I don't know if I'm ready to get hurt like that again. It's
I
like,
know. I'm not anticipating he's going to end up here, but it's
Yeah,
fun to entertain because it's
it is,
realistic.
but humoring the idea gets me involved, and it gets me
Right.
thinking about, like what would happen if we did have him. I would love to see him in a Patriots uniform, and I bet there would be some spectacular moments, and that reels me back in. It's like watching the Bruins this season. It's like, I just don't know if I can sign up for this again. Like, it's never going to be as good as it was last year. I'm not ready for this type of heartbreak. Hell, even if they, make a surprise run in the playoffs and win the title, it's like, it's still not going to be I'm not going to be as excited as I was last year when they beat every team by 2. So it's like, I don't think I can ever be as excited about DeAndre Hopkins as I was this past offseason, and I'm so used to the heartbreak already. I don't know if I'm willing to sign myself up for it. It's fun to think about. Obviously, I would love it, but it's really tough for me to humor the idea.
It is, and I can understand that. And you know what? Again, I'm not expecting Hopkins to be here, but it's a move they could pull off because I looked at the free agency class. We've talked about it. Who's the big fish? Mike Evans, who's going to be like 32, 33 years old.
He's still very effective, though. I have
He is, but Like if you want to really like hit a home run here and take a big swing here, go get T. Higgins from Cincinnati. You could get him too, but again, it's will they make that move? We know they're not going to make that move, and they're not going to attempt to make that move.
No, it it's not. I don't know. It's just it would surprise me because that doesn't seem like how the Patriots roll, and especially is this a win now opportunity? Like, if Mike was here, he'd be banging his fists on the desk telling us, like I said earlier, that we aren't going to lose another game for the rest of the season. But
Right.
you and me aren't like that. We are realists. We will sit here and tell you our honest thoughts, and we will get ready for a scrap it season and get ready for the next one. So Mike would be
Yeah.
all in, and I can see him in my, or I can hear him in my ear saying it right now. But I just don't know if any of these moves are worth it. Does T. Higgins make an incredible difference in this offense? To
I
you,
think to me, yes, I think he does because I think he's a big body receiver. I think he's a guy that can be a number one receiver if given the chance to be off a team that has Jamar Chase on it. I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
Jamar Chase. It's the juju effect when he was on the Steelers. I think he's really good because of Jamar Chase. Is a huge reason for it. I don't think that's the only reason he's good.
It could be, but you know what? Honestly, you don't know until you put him in that situation.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
thing.
true. Absolutely, yeah. So is it worth the risk?
I think it's worth the
Probably.
risk. I mean,
I'd say
listen,
probably.
if you're going to keep Mac Jones here, which, like, I don't know if you listened last week, Liam, but if you heard us last week, like, we were like, you know what? Mac Jones isn't the guy. So you know what? You're going to have to move on from him. Who's the next guy? But after this game, I'm not entirely back in on Mac Jones. But what I'm saying is I'm scratching my head there and I'm thinking, they give him a clean pocket. They actually make some plays for him, give him time to throw. He can be a top half of the league quarterback. I'm not saying he's top 10, top
Yeah,
five,
but
anything
we
like
knew
that.
this. We knew this anyway.
And
We've been
right,
saying this.
right. And we saw it again on Sunday. We saw it because we have been waiting for basically a month to be like, where's the Mac Jones that we saw week one against Philly, week two against Miami? Where was that Mac
Yeah.
Jones? That's what we were looking for, but we weren't getting that. But anyways, we got really off topic there. But just going back to the Bills game, I will listen. You wiped egg on your face with my Kendrick Bourne comment. I will wipe egg on my face and say this: the Bills aren't as good as I thought they were. I thought they were better.
Thank
I
you.
thought they were. Listen,
Excellent.
listen. You know me. When I'm wrong, I
Yep.
will be the
Yep.
first to admit that I'm wrong. And I was wrong about this Bills team. This
Yep.
Bills team did not impress me. Josh Allen, I forgot too. Turns the ball over a ton. I mean, first play, and credit to Jabril Peppers, he baited Josh Allen to
Big
make
time. He
that
was
throw.
not in the picture.
No, he was in the flat, ready to cover that receiver, and then he shaded back, and then he was
Yep.
able to get to that receiver, easy pick, and you're in Buffalo territory. First play of the game for Buffalo
Yeah.
offensively. First play, Liam.
Oh yeah. I
And,
got to
and
give it to
that's
Patriots fans too, where it's like we they showed up for a home game against the Saints and we got smoked, and people booed and left early. But if our team's doing well, and it's easy to say if things are doing well, we're going to support you regardless. It doesn't matter if we're 1-5. If you make an interception, you start the game off hot. Patriots fans were in their seats the entire game because they knew there was a reason the team was actually trying, and they knew there was a reason that fans were there. So when he got that interception, the place was electric. Something to be said about Patriots fans there, but
absolutely. And you think about some of the MVPs in that game. Jabril Peppers, obviously the interception, but man, he's putting together a good season for
yeah,
himself. Think about the plays he's been involved in. Philly opening week, knocks the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, gives the Patriots a chance to win the game late in that week one game. The game against Vegas where he hits Devontae Adams over the middle, forces
destroys him.
Jelani Tavai to have the interception. And then obviously the interception against Josh Allen on Sunday. Like Peppers is having a really good year for himself and is cementing himself as a solid replacement, at least for the short term, for Devin McCourty.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
he's playing that
this
safety
is
role well.
yeah, and he's like a hybrid linebacker safety, but he has been playing the deep middle more than I would have expected him to. I certainly would have thought Duggar would be back there more than Peppers has been, but this is exactly what I expected from Jabril Peppers when he came out of Michigan, where I was like, this dude, he's Charles Woodson light type deal, where it's like he can go out there and do it all. He could probably play on offense if he wanted to. He can return kicks, he can return punts, he can tackle, he can intercept, he can play the passing lanes. He's a very well-rounded player, and I love him. He was underutilized with the Browns. The Giants' defense has been fucking awful forever, and finally he gets to a team under a defensive coordinator, a defensive genius in Bill Belichick who could use him. And last year, he was fine, but he wasn't this good. And I don't know, maybe it takes an adjustment period because this is an infamously complicated defense with different looks every week, different game plans every week. So you really aren't following the same structure that goes through the whole season. But after a year in this Patriots defense, he is settling in his second year. He's fucking phenomenal. Like, safeties aren't good anymore. So when I think of like the top safeties in the league, Kevin Byard is one of them. Now he's on the Eagles. Buda Baker's another one. He's rotting away on the Cardinals. Jabril Peppers up there with some of the best of them. I have a hard time imagining other great safeties. Harrison Smith still gets the respect for the Vikings, but he's
Right.
old. He hasn't made the plays that he's accustomed to making in years.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, there's so many elements to this team. Like Jabril Peppers is just one of them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Christian Barmore, I was always saying the best ability is availability. He's been available the last two games, Liam. He's looked dominant, controlling the line of
he's
scrimmage.
pissed.
He is pissed, and he should be pissed because he has
Yeah,
something to prove. And also, I mean, like getting J.C. Jackson in the deal with the Chargers. I know it's like, oh, big deal, but it is a big deal
I
because you
liked it.
lost. I did too. You lost Marcus Jones for the year. You lost Christian Gonzalez for the year. There's two corners right there. By the way, Jack Jones coming back. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but in the fourth quarter, Patriots are up 6, 3rd and 10 for the Bills. Josh Allen completes the pass to Stephon Diggs. Jack Jones lights him up,
Yeah,
right on contact. 4th and 3, 4th and 2, and then Jabril Peppers, who we were just talking about, knocks the ball out of one of the, I forget which receiver it was for Buffalo. I don't know if it was Diggs on that
no,
play, but no, it was the tight end. It was, wasn't Dawson. Was it Dawson
Dalton
Knox?
Kincaid.
Thank you, Dalton Kincaid, and knocks the ball out, and then it's turnover on downs. And then that's when the Patriots go down and score and go up 22-10. We think the game's over. But the point is that Jack Jones, he's going to make a difference in the secondary. And I hate to say this. I hate to say look toward next year, but if you kept all these guys, right, look at the talent you'd have just at the corner position. Gonzalez, Jackson, Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones. Like 5 corners right there.
Yeah,
5 quality corners. Like your defense is all set. And you get Matt Judon back next year on the final year of his deal. Hopefully he comes back and they give him an extension, which they should give him. But, you know, that defense is going to be really solid next year if they keep everybody. But again, we're digressing, but
yeah.
this was the perfect storm, Liam. And what was one thing that you noticed from beginning to end too in this Patriots game that you haven't seen in all the other games?
They
Let's
look
see if you can.
comfortable.
They do, but why do they look comfortable?
Everyone knows what to do. Everyone's doing their job.
Because they were playing from ahead.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, they got out to a very fast start. Yes.
They did, but think about it, right? Even just the field goal, they're playing up. They're up 3-0 now. Now the defense changes a little bit. The offense can relax a little bit because they know they put up points and they know they're going to continue to put up points.
Yes.
So now it's, you know what? Next week, if you're in Miami and you get the chance to take the ball first, take the ball. See if you can go down and score.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it is what it is. But at least you're being aggressive.
Change up that highly vaunted Bill Belichick tactic of taking the ball at halftime. Maybe we can try taking the ball at the beginning instead. We win the coin toss. Let's not defer this time.
Right. You might as well try to take the ball and do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happens when you have a competent offense. Look what happens when you can run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. I'm not saying that Zeke was out of this world, but he was able to get his fair share of plays where he was, you know, a battering ram getting 3-4 yards. Ramondre, the same thing.
Yeah.
Ramondre had more, I would say, efficiency, but both of them did a good job, especially running up the middle, which, by the way, the Bills have the worst run defense and runs up the middle because
Yeah.
they can't defend up the middle. So that's why you saw a lot of runs up the middle, and then that set up the play action too, where that's Mac
The
Jones'
play action was
specialty.
great.
Yeah, 25-31, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That's the Mac Jones that you can have if you give
Not
it
only
time
no
to
picks,
establish
like
the run.
no turnover worthy plays. Like the ball was never in danger. There was never a moment where you're like, oh, and then you flinch and you're like, okay, cool, we didn't throw
The
a fucking
fumble there,
interception.
he fumbled once and they got
Yeah,
it back. But other than that,
yeah. But I'm saying like putting the ball in the air and whatnot. His decision
right,
making was very good.
it was.
Fumbles are. It sucks. I don't ever want to see it. You should be able to avoid it, but if you're the quarterback, it's not always possible. You got one hand on the ball half the time. So
No, absolutely. Was there anything else from this Bills game that you wanted to talk about, Liam, or anything you wanted to bring up?
yeah, I say it very bittersweetly because I love him. I love his performances. We finally got to see him unleash Pop Douglas. It comes at the expense of my boy, my man, the big bad Booty. Kayshawn Booty has basically been, we'll call it what it is. He's in the doghouse. He's got the Kendrick Bourne role this year. And in Pop Douglas, we fed him the rock. It was glorious. He finished with 4 for 54. Seemed like I was watching the game. I would have thought he got the ball 7 times. It just seemed like he always had the ball in his hands. He was always running. He's it's those cliche lines. He's the spark plug. He's the jitterbug. He's all these things that you want to describe a small, shifty player as, but that's exactly what he is, and that's exactly what we need. You are not getting that type of run after the catch from Devontae Parker, from Juju. You get it, definitely, but even to a slightly lesser degree with Kendrick Bourne. I think they're similar. I do like Bourne's run after the catch ability, but he's speed. He has all the ability in the world, and we finally were using him. Like I was talking about the play calling earlier, they gave him that end around that ended up going for how many
20
yards was it?
yards? Was
Yeah,
it
20
20
yards.
yards?
Yeah. And that is exactly what we were hoping for. If you are going to roll out there with less than stellar personnel, if just about every other team has equal or greater offensive talent than you, you have to out scheme them. That's how Sean McVay has made his lore as one of the greatest scheme coaches ever, and Mike Shanahan doing the same thing, even though they both have great personnel at the moment. If they had what the Patriots are working with, they would be able to scheme these guys open. It doesn't matter if they're not as good. If we don't have Jamar Chase, if we don't have Justin Jefferson, you can scheme Devontae Parker open. You can scheme Pop Douglas and Kendrick Bourne open and get them the ball in areas where they can specifically succeed with their skill set. So I'd love to see that Douglas was finally involved. I am so surprised that a 6th round rookie is having an impact like this, even though we see it. If any franchise shouldn't be surprised about this, it shouldn't be the Patriots. We love taking 6th round guys and turning them into something glorious. But I, I'm completely blown away. Every time he gets the ball, I'm like, I fucking love this guy. Let's get him the ball more. I'm just
Yep.
happy that he's being used. This was the first game where I actually feel like I have hope. I have something to be excited about.
I think everyone has something to be excited about with Pop Douglas, right? Because it's the versatility role.
Yeah.
It's like the Julian Edelman role. I know Edelman wasn't as much with like the roundabouts and everything like that and the
Yeah.
jet
But he
sweeps,
did it.
but he still did it, right?
Yeah.
And
We
you
ran
have
Amendola in those fucking things. We'll put anyone who's willing to do it in that position. Just not all of them will be as good.
right. Brandon Cooks even did it for the one
Oh,
year he was
yeah.
here in 2017. Like
Yeah.
they have that role now and they have somebody to build this offense around. If I'm the Patriots, I'm making sure that Douglas is here for the long term part of the offense. Hunter Henry, I want around for the foreseeable
Yep.
future. And then you can kind of build around that. Kayshawn Booty, like if
So
he,
those are the two must keeps.
I think
Like
so.
by all
I,
means, they're untouchable.
you have to. I mean, I would say Kendrick Bourne too, but let's call it like this. They're not keeping Kendrick Bourne, and it
No,
stinks.
I'd like them though, and that's what's so
I do
annoying.
too. It
Yeah,
is.
like he, I'm in such a love hate relationship. We talked about the fumble earlier, so now I'm just beating a dead horse. But it's like, dude, like you're giving me so much to love about you. Just finish, like finish the play, like just clean it up a little bit so I
That's it.
can really be a fan. But yeah, I think because of his mistakes, along with his contract and his situation, he won't stay. But if he could just be a little bit of a better player, I would be the biggest advocate for him in the world.
I know, and that's the problem. Is he with all the good plays he makes, like you mentioned earlier, he has his bad moments. He has his
Yeah,
moments where he doesn't make the big reception. He has moments where he turns the ball over, yada yada yada. But again, to go back to what we were talking about with the must keeps, again, you have to keep Pop Douglas. You got to keep Hunter Henry. Everyone else, like Keishon Boutte, okay, fine.
yeah,
Everybody else, and I know I want to throw Kendrick Bourne in that category, but everyone else can go. Devontae
yeah.
Parker can go.
Everyone else is
Juju can
expendable.
go. Everybody else can go.
Yeah,
Everybody else can go.
yeah,
And you know what? It's okay because at least you will have a plan going forward.
yes,
And that's what you need. You need a plan. But again, let's take the good with the bad.
yeah,
They got a win this week. We're happy about that. We're
yeah.
celebrating that. It's great. Anything else specifically from the Bills game before we do a little bit of the Dolphins game and then just some other tidbits?
Yeah, we mentioned it for a second, but I would like to just give our opinions on the Bills and Josh Allen because, in my eyes, they are who I thought they were. And we did not let them off the hook. Fuck these guys. I am so tired of hearing how good they are when they blow out Miami or they have the one good game a year and Josh Allen goes crazy. I get it. His counting stats are good, but his counting stats for interceptions and his mistakes and the fact that he's always putting himself in injury trouble when he goes running outside the pocket, he is not as good as everyone says. They hype him up as he's in the top three tier. He's up there with Burrow and Mahomes. No, 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 absolutely not. No, he reminds me of like a stronger armed, more athletic Brett Favre, where he's like, all right, like double coverage. I love it. And then he throws it deep, and you're like, oh God, like he will make the great plays where they'll go on all the Instagram pages. It'll be on Sports Center when Diggs splits the double coverage and gets a long touchdown. But most of the time, it doesn't work out like that. You cannot rely on that. I talked so much shit to Buffalo Bills fans when I was there. Like, when
Oh
I
yeah.
tell you, I was flat out, I was mean. I was a decrepit, angry Patriots fan walking around reminding everyone they lost four straight Super Bowls. We have six. Like, I hit all the cliches, all the talking points. I let every Bills fan know. But in the end, like, Josh Allen throws that pick at the beginning of the game, and all the Bills fans that I had been making fun of all pregame immediately turn on him. Oh, he sucks. Oh, blah blah blah, and they all completely turn on him right away. And I'm like, oh, you guys are fair weather fans. You guys suck. But later in the day, I was home. I was relaxing. I was like, they probably watch Josh Allen more than I do, and I'm not too impressed. They're probably pretty fucking fed up with the guy. Like, yeah, he does a lot of great things for you, but their Super Bowl window closed when Cincinnati stomped them out in the playoffs last year. They're done. They had a 2-year window. The window's closed. It's over.
Yeah, I think their window is over. And you know what? I was talking about this on Legends Lingo. I think the big thing that we forget is that a couple of years ago, we were saying that this Bills team was close to the Chiefs. But
Yeah.
now,
And they
who
theoretically were.
who can realistically give Kansas City a run for their money right now? Nobody.
Yeah, it
Not the
doesn't seem like
Bengals, not the
anyone. It's so
Bills.
annoying. Like,
Miami, maybe, but they can't beat good teams right now.
yeah, no. My best guess would be like the Ravens, and they haven't proven anything either. Like, they once they get to the playoffs, they always seem to melt down. That would be my next best guess. It seems like Josh Allen has a curse where he only plays as good as the team he's playing against. Where if he's playing the Chiefs, he's going to play like Mahomes. He's going to be killer. They'll still lose the game, but he'll play great. And then he'll play bad teams or teams that are okay. He'll be okay again or above average against the Dolphins, and he'll smoke them, and then he'll play a shitty Patriots team, and he'll play shitty.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen, look, turns the ball over a ton. You can't turn the ball over a ton as a quarterback. And you know
Yeah,
what? A turnover is what got the Patriots a 10-point lead. A
yeah,
turnover is what kept the Patriots up by 10 consistently. Because you take away that interception, who knows? Maybe the Bills go down, they score at 7-3, and then who knows? That game's different.
yeah,
But again, it's a game of ball control and it's a game of winning at the line of scrimmage. I think the Patriots won at the line of scrimmage and they won the turnover battle for the most
yeah.
part.
Oh, certainly.
So,
Yeah.
so again, or it might have been 1-1, but regardless, let's talk real quick, and then we will get into the Miami game real quick. That game winning drive, second to Mac Jones' career, by the way, fourth
Yeah.
quarter, go ahead or winning drive. Everything played perfectly, right? The Stevenson screen goes for 30 yards, penalty after, and then
Yep.
they're down. Patriots convert on third down with Mac Jones throwing to Hunter Henry across the middle.
Yep. Third and
And,
8.
and, yeah, I think it was a 3rd and 8. You're right. And then obviously the touchdown pass to Jasicki. It's everything that we wanted, but yet I don't know about you, but it's me. I'm like, okay, when do they screw this up? Where's the
Yeah.
mistake? When's it coming? And I thought when the flag was thrown, I just laughed. I said, "Yep, here it is." And then the
Yeah.
Bills, it's like, "Oh, okay, this is refreshing. Like this is
Yeah.
nice. Like it's actually not against us."
I can't help but think, the former gambler in me thinks that maybe Vegas had a hand in that some way or another or something. It just seemed like a phantom call in the first place. And just like you, when it went down, I was like, here we go. It's going to be, 1st and 20 or whatever it is. I'm like, this is going to be a fucking nightmare and we're not even going to get in field goal range. It's not going to be close. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, I was waiting for the mistake. Absolutely. What we have no reason to not believe that there would be a mistake. Last game, we started out with penalties on our first two offensive plays were holdings. The mistakes always come, and they usually come at the worst possible moments. And I was expecting at most a field goal and we're going to overtime, and then we'd probably lose type deal. And it
Yep.
was far from that. Like you said, though, this is everything we wanted. This is what we dreamed of. We had delusions of grandeur in the preseason where we're like, it's going to be glorious. There'll be a long pass to Ramondre Stevenson, and then we'll get Hunter Henry involved, and then the two-headed tight end attack will go off, and Mike Gesicki will get the game-winning touchdown. This is exactly what we dreamed of. We just didn't
Yep.
expect we'd be 2-5 in that moment.
And you know what? If there's going to be a time, and I'm going to sound like Mike here for a second, but if there's a time to beat the Dolphins, it's right now
Oh,
because
absolutely.
now you have the momentum. You just came off a huge win at home. Now you're going into a place where historically you've struggled. So let's segue into it, Liam. So Patriots are playing the Miami Dolphins in Miami for week 8. And I just want to make sure that I have this correct. So I'm looking at, and I'll give credit to where credit is due, DraftKings. And DraftKings has the Dolphins as a 9.5 point favorite.
No way. I thought it would be less than a touchdown after the last game. Both
No,
games.
it was at 10.5. Then I think it went down to 8.5. Now
Wow.
it's back up to 9.5. But
Disrespect.
I know. But anyways, so Patriots are playing the Dolphins. Dolphins could be without Jalen Waddle this week, which could
Yep.
be a big blow to that offense because he has a back injury right now that he's nursing back, trying to get back healthy. It was pretty gruesome in the game last week against Philly. I think he got hurt
Yep.
in that
Damn
game.
right he
So
did. Eagles
yeah.
killed him.
So if Jalen Waddle's out, that could be a big help for the Patriots. Who knows? But
He was out in the first game that we played him too, and the
was
game was
he?
competitive. Yeah, he was. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
I
he
forgot about
was
that.
out in that game. So it brings the playing field exactly to where it was in the last game where we lost by a touchdown. We were very much in that game.
Exactly. And you know what? It's a very simple formula to beat the Dolphins. You got to contain Tyreek Hill, and they're probably going to do something where they're going to play a lot of zone coverage. They're going to have nothing be beaten deep because Miami's similar to Philly in the sense that they're a big chunk type of team. They like to get big
Yes.
chunks of yardage in one or two plays, and then they kind of, get into their offense. They get going. It's almost like an NBA team. It almost reminds me, Liam, I'm going to throw an old school basketball reference at you.
Love
It's
it.
like, it's like those 1980s, like University of Houston teams, Phi Slamma Jamma, where they used
Yeah.
to dunk the basketball and they get hyped up. That's what this Dolphins team is. Like a big play, they get hyped up and their offense goes and goes and goes. So that's what I'm kind of thinking is going to be the case now. So you're probably going to see, a lot of intermediate plays, a lot of like 10, 15-yard passes from Tua. But here's the thing. If you can get pressure on Tua Tagovailoa, you've seen what happens when you get pressure.
Yeah.
He will make mistakes.
He is the 27th ranked quarterback under pressure, if I remember correctly. It's in the 20s. It's between 22 and 27, but I believe it's 27.
So 27th, and say that again because you got cut out for a sec.
Oh,
27th and what?
27th ranked quarterback against pressure.
Against pressure. Okay, so he doesn't do well against pressure. He doesn't. So guess what? Christian Barmore, in that defensive line up front, go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
go up and get the quarterback because if Tua has time, he will carve you and he will pick you apart. He may scalp you, some might say. He might do that.
Some may say that. I don't know anyone personally, but some may say that.
You're welcome. I took that from
Yeah.
you.
Oh, of course. No, that's a great one. You always got
But
to throw a scalping reference in there.
disclaimer, stolen from Liam McDayan, so I just
I'm
want
the
that on the
scalping guy.
record.
Yeah, I was like, do not fire me. I do not scalp people.
I do know. But it is what it is. And you know what? With this Miami defense, we may see Jalen his first game of the year. So I don't know
Of
how
course.
effective he's going to be. You may
Hopefully
see
not so.
Xavier, hopefully not so is right. You may see Xavier Howard. Like, who knows how he's going to be. But again, you can beat this team, but you got to
Yeah.
play a clean game. You cannot have turnovers. You can't go back to how you played in weeks 4, 5, and 6. You can't do it. Have a good game plan. Run the ball until you can't run the ball. Set up the play action. Let Mac Jones carve out the defense like he did against Buffalo, and you'll have a chance.
Yeah.
Now,
I need to know, like, I gotta go back and look at the teams that have beaten Miami and how they did it. Like, I watched the Eagles game, but the Eagles are just a head and shoulders better team, so you can't get a fair assessment from there. The Dolphins love play action pass and throwing over the middle. Like you said, they love the chunk plays to Tyreek Hill. They'll get chunk plays that set up their entire drive is built off one chunk play. As long as you get a 60-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, doesn't matter what you do for the rest of the plays, you're scoring on that drive because you have all the momentum. The defense is on its toes. You're probably in the red zone anyway. So I need to know what the formula is to beat this team, whether it's you force them to run, you keep it short, but then Mostert will go off for fucking 4 touchdowns like he has before. The team's deadly. Can you hear me? Hello? Oop, you
there
hear
we go.
me?
We're back. We're
There
good.
we
We're
go.
back.
Yeah,
We're
but
back.
yeah, so the team's just loaded. I don't know if it's you force it into the running back's hands because then Mostert can go off for 4 touchdowns. I don't exactly know what the formula is to beat this team. If anyone can do it, it's Bill Belichick. I think we need Keon White back. He would be a huge part of getting pressure on Tua. I would love to see him in there, making some rookie impact as well. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle, though. The House of Horrors, Miami looks either like the best team in the league with the best offense, or they look very middle of the road. There really seems to
Right.
be no in between. They never truly look like a shitty team, so I know it's going to be a good game. We have our work cut out for us.
We definitely do have our work cut out for us, and it's going to be a lot of work. But if they pull off that win somehow against Miami, oh man, will this season look completely different?
Imagine, and I'm trying not to get caught up in the hype. Like, I don't
I'm
want
not
to be,
either.
yeah, like, it's a great movie, but I don't want to be like Mike. Like, this is just not, I know he would be so fired up right now, and I'm trying not to get swept up in the hype. But if we win the next game, and then we have the Commanders, and then we have a hurt Bengals team, the schedule really
They're
starts to
not.
open up.
They're not playing. They're not playing the Bengals this year.
Are you sure?
1,000%. They're playing the Colts, so they play like the
Colts in Germany.
Commanders, Colts. The Steelers are in there on Thursday Night Football. The Chargers are in there. And then there's somebody else. There's another winnable game in there. It's like 5 winnable games in a row. But let's just do this while you're looking that up. Let's just give a couple score predictions.
Yeah.
So you're not going to like my score prediction. I still need to see it 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going the same score that I said on Legends Lingo. I'm going Dolphins 27, Patriots 14. It's just, it's Miami. It's their offense. It's,
27-14, you said?
yeah, for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. What do you got?
First of all, you were right. I mistook the Bengals for the Broncos. You're right. We do not
That's
play them.
okay.
I thought it
Broncos too.
was weird that we played them. Yeah, the Broncos would be an easy one as well. That'll be a
Should
10
be.
pull. But 27-14 is fair. I'm like you, where we've got smoked. Even in last game we were competitive, we still got smoked in many different areas. The 2 games before then were fucking atrocious to watch. I have absolutely no reason to think that the Patriots will win besides the momentum of this game. And I am going to say a 20, a weird score here. 24-18 score. It's going to be an odd one, just like the first two games. I think we're going to keep it interesting. The Patriots either lose with flair or they lose really fucking close. There's you rarely get those middle ground games.
Right.
I I want to see the Patriots win. I want to pick the Patriots. I fucking hate Miami. I don't particularly like Tua that much. Yeah, 24-18. They're going to keep it close. It's going to be competitive. It can truly swing one way or another. If we can get a clean game from Mac, I'd feel confident. If you could tell me right now, if you could assure me that Mac has a turnover-free game, then I will give the Patriots the win. But I cannot say that with full confidence. So I am going to say, fuck it. I'm going to say 21-18. I'll talk myself down a bit. Like a 3-point game will keep it close.
Yeah, I think that's the formula, right? Turnover free football, mistake free football, force turnovers for the Dolphins, make them make the mistakes, and then you take advantage. So we'll see what happens, but we both agree. We think a loss is imminent. Like it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
It
We'll see.
seems reasonable. Yeah, like we're realistic Patriots fans. Like, yes, we won the last game, but so what? Type deal. Like, it was great. It's a divisional game, and we both think the Bills are frauds. Fuck them. Like, they're
We do.
terrible.
The Dolphins are
Yeah,
better than the Bills. We
far
think.
better.
Yes.
And it's so weird going into the season that there were rumors about Miami, like, oh, maybe they'll lead the division. Now they're the clear cut. They are the team to beat in this division. So, yeah. This is so tough. I can talk
I know.
myself into it either way here, but
You really can.
gotta
All
be
right.
gotta be realistic. It's a division game. Maybe we can pull out some magic.
Maybe we can, but all right. Let's just talk a few Patriots tidbits, and we'll get out of here for the week.
Yeah.
A couple of waves that happened today. Trey Flowers got waived. Any just
Yep.
quick thoughts on that?
Yeah. I guess I'm not surprised. Kind of when they got him back, I was like, I don't know how much we'll need him, how much we'll use him, and depending on how the season's been going, I was like, yeah, I can totally see him just being sliced off the roster.
Yeah.
It doesn't particularly surprise me. Doesn't even particularly hurt me, even though he's a former Patriot. He's got a spot in my heart. He's not an impact player.
No, he's not. Like it was cool when they resigned him. It's like, oh, Trey
Yeah,
Flowers, Super Bowl
of
hero.
course.
It's really
Yeah.
good, but I mean, he's not. He wasn't going to
It's
contribute
no
anything.
Jamie Collins where they sign him and you're like, oh, this guy's going to play. Like, you're like,
Right.
oh, they signed an old Patriots player. It's like when they get Brian Hoyer. You're like, maybe he'll play.
Exactly. Marcus Jones out for the year. I mean, I
That
think we
one
kind of both
hurts.
expected that, but we expected it,
Yeah.
right?
I expected him to miss a good chunk of time. I always thought he'd be back. It does suck. I love to see Peppers back there returning punts and whatnot, but it sucks. He was the most fun player to watch on defense. Regardless of what's going on, the dude's a human highlight reel. So that's a huge blow. That one sucks.
That one does suck. Another one that sucked. Malik Cunningham also got waived today,
Yeah. So I
but
guess
I
that
think
Malik Cunningham experiment only lasted half of a Raiders game, huh?
I think he's going to end up back in the practice squad. I think it's just going to be they're trying to clear some spots, clear out some money, stuff like that. And I know with like Trey Flowers, he had to be activated to the active roster or they had to get rid of him and they didn't see
Yeah.
a place for him. So they had to get rid of him. So
Yeah. That
yeah,
makes a
but
lot of sense.
Malik Cunningham, I would be surprised. I mean, they waived him once after training camp, before the season started and they got him back. So it's like, I would be shocked if he ended up somewhere else. What team's really hurting for a quarterback right now? There's not really anybody
Yeah.
that's hurting for even a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he'll be back. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, the only team I could think of is the Raiders, and I don't think they'd make a move to go get him. There's probably better options out there for him. Yeah, the realistic approach is that he will go to the practice squad, and I'm sure he will. Do you think he's going to get pulled back up onto the active roster at all for the rest of the year? Or did they pull the plug? They weren't impressed.
I don't think they were impressed. I think they're like, you know what, this kid's a project. We got a long way to go, even before he develops as either a receiver or a quarterback. And I think they like what they see out of Will Greer too. I think if Matt gets hurt, I think Will Greer is going to be the guy. Which
Yeah, I liked Will Greer in college, but he just sucked in the pros. Like he's been fucking awful since. I liked him at West Virginia. He just doesn't seem to have it in the professional league.
he doesn't. One final thing we're going to talk about for a couple minutes, and then we'll kind of wrap up. Bill Belichick. For all the people that were saying he's going to be gone, he's going to be out the door, not so fast. So before the Bills game, there was a report that came out. Ian Rappaport was the first to report it. In the offseason, Bill Belichick signed quietly a lucrative type of extension to stay here. There have been some reports that the deal is for a 3-year extension. Others don't know. But here's what I'm going to say. If you want to keep Bill Belichick and you want him to stay here to help you rebuild the next great championship Patriot team, that's fine. No problem. But you better do something this offseason because if you don't have a great record at the end of the year, you're going to get a mid to upper first round pick. That's a plus. You're going to have all this money to spend in the offseason to actually bring in free agents. Another plus. Actually do something with it.
Yes.
Don't go out and get me, a linebacker from Marshall that you think is like, a needle in the haystack. I'm just saying, just a couple names. Go get like a Mike Evans or a T. Higgins or someone like that. Go get a big name free agent that's going to come in here and help you immediately. You have money to spend. The Bears, I know they're not good, but give them credit, Liam. They at least tried. They tried to sign all these guys, try to improve their team. They went
Traded
out
for
and did the
Chase
right thing.
Claypool. It was a miss, but they tried. Like
They're
you
trying.
respect a team for trying. Absolutely. My buddy actually, who's a Bears fan, sent me a meme a little while ago. Do you watch any of the Marvel movies at all?
I did when I was younger, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So
But
you probably wouldn't get the reference. I don't watch it a whole lot either, but if you watch the clip, it's pretty funny. You might have seen it on Instagram. It's like Captain America being attacked by like 40 people and he's throwing them off one by
yeah,
one. And the caption was the Patriots front office trying to stop Bill Belichick from drafting a long snapper out of Bowling Green with the first overall pick.
yeah,
And
or I was just gonna say it could be like Robert De Niro where he's like punching the Incredible Hulk and just saying go to sleep, 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 and it's like Belichick with GM duties, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. But
It's true though. It's so
it's
fun to make fun of.
and that's the thing. Bill Belichick, the coach, keep him around. That's fine. You
Yeah.
want him to stay here, break Shula's record, whatever. Great, more power to you. But if you're going to have him make the decisions, you better have someone there that's going to guide him along the way, like Matt Groh, whoever it has to be. And I'm not the biggest Matt Groh guy because I think he's had some swing and misses too, as far as offensive signings are concerned. Obviously, Juju so far has been a bust.
Sucks.
Devontae Parker, not
Sucks.
great. Yeah. But the point is that you need to go out and you need to actually do something. So good for Bill. Give him his money, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's you got to deliver because if you don't deliver, especially if you miss the playoffs this year and then you start out bad next year, then you better talk about Belichick potentially being fired because it'll have been 3 years in a row. And you know better than anybody, you're a football guy. Any other coach that had that would be gone.
Not any other one. Andy Reid.
Pretty much any other one.
Okay, but Bill Belichick isn't pretty much any other coach. What riddle me this.
Go ahead.
What have the Spurs done for the last 3 years?
I know. Greg Popovich. I know.
Yep. And there was never, ever murmurs, never a fear, never trying to push Pop out the door. There was never a, wow, Pop has the first overall pick, things aren't going well, or Pop's got another top pick, things aren't going well. He can stay for as long as he wants. Bill Belichick can lose all the rest of his games this year, all the rest of them next year, all the year after that. He can show up to the stadium with a TNT belt on, pull the trigger, and blow himself up at mid-court. Doesn't matter. He is the coach for us. There's no way you can ever fire him. I thought all of these talks of him being on the hot seat are so outrageous. His seat is air conditioned cold. It is the coldest seat. He has more job security than Andy Reid. And everyone is so short sighted. So when I saw this, I think I saw it in the second quarter of the game because I wasn't on my phone much during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned it on my Instagram, looked at it. I was like, no fucking way. I was so happy, ready to throw that in the face of everyone who's ever said to me that Bill Belichick is on the hot seat because it just didn't make sense. I get it. The past is the past, but he provided for us the greatest glory in all of sports, the most successful dynasty in all of sports. You cannot be spiteful to him now. He can stay as long as he wants. even with the GM decisions. I don't fucking care. He can make all the GM decisions. He can sign long snappers for every position. I don't care. And yes, it won't be fun to watch, but he has earned the right to do whatever he wants to do with this team. And we are truly at his mercy. And fans may not like that. It's probably an uncomfortable situation where you're like, my entire fandom, I'm going to dedicate hours, money, I'm going to dedicate a lot of things to this franchise, and it all is on the shoulders of one guy. And he's fucking it up. Maybe he is, but he also brought you a 28-3 comeback. He brought you 5 other Super Bowls. He brought you 5 of the greatest moments of your life, precious memories that you will never forget. In the end, suck a fucking dick, because this is Bill Belichick and it's his team and he can do whatever he wants. And we as the fans just have to sit back and go, in Bill I trust. Because, yeah, maybe he's fucked it up the last 3 years, but for 20 years before then, it's pretty spot on. I don't care if he has Tom Brady, because Tom Brady sucked in his last year. It's not all Tom Brady carrying the show.
It wasn't Brady carrying the show, and I see what you're saying about Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable spot. I totally get it. To
It
just have
is.
one guy kind of dictate how your team's going to go. Because he's human like anyone else. You're like, he's going to make a mistake. Yeah, probably. I bet if you were in that position, you'd probably miss on a couple ones too. Yeah, it's easy for everyone to be like, trade for Justin Jefferson. Fuck it, obviously. You don't think Andy Reid wants to trade for Justin Jefferson? You don't think any coach wants to trade for Justin Jefferson? It's not how this fucking world works.
I know. So again, Belichick has earned the right to try to fix this.
Yeah,
So let's see if he can fix it. But
absolutely.
if he can't fix it, and for the next year or two
Yeah.
it still looks bad, then you might want to consider
And you can have
making
those
a change.
conversations. Absolutely. You, and I'm sure, I'll give it 50 to 60% of Patriots fan base, maybe even 70. Will be like, oh, what's Belichick doing? Doesn't matter how much you guys disagree or complain or don't want that to be the case, because that's just how the world is going to work. And Patriots fandom world, Bill Belichick is our emperor, our ruler, our czar, our Khan, whatever terminology you want to use. He is the one who knocks. And we answer that door with pride every Sunday and watch those fucking games, whether the team's getting blown out 34-0 or not.
Okay, I think that's a good place where we can end that. That's a good little rant to kind of
Whew.
go off on. So
Oh, I'm
we're
just
fine
so
now.
happy. I love Bill Belichick. I love him. I love him so much.
I love Patriots wins, and that's what you
Yeah,
got. You got a
100%.
Patriots win on Sunday. Maybe you get another one on Sunday. That'd be
Yeah.
great. But if not, you still have some winnable games coming up. So
And we will always have this game. This
we
will be
will.
a talking point game for a long, long time. Like you said, the new lighthouse was able to go in effect, first dub there and whatnot. But this game carries a lot of weight. We're gonna remember this for years to come.
Yep. Congrats to obviously Bill Belichick as well for being the
Of
third head
course,
coach in NFL history, 300
much
career
deserved.
regular season wins, only behind um, Don Shula and George Hallis.
Alice.
So now we'll see if he can break that record eventually.
Yep.
Final thought, Liam, before we close out for the night.
Give Tua his ninth, 10th, and 11th concussion. Let's win this game.
I'll disagree with the first part. I'll agree with the second part. Let's win this game. Let's try to find a way to win this
Yep.
game. Because you find a way to win this game, you're 3-5, 3-1 in the division with, again, the Commanders, the Colts, the
Yeah.
Broncos, the Chargers, and the Steelers all coming up.
Yep. We got an
So,
opportunity to do something here. Take Tua and break him over your knee like Batman did to Bane. This is go time. I want Tua absolutely assaulted out there.
oh boy. So after the Dolphins, the next 5 games specifically, home
Yep.
against the Commanders, in Germany against the Colts, at the Giants. That's a game we forgot
Easy
about.
money.
Home
Yep.
against the Chargers, and the Chargers have been a little underwhelming, and at the Steelers. Then you got the Chiefs, which will be tough. Then you got the Broncos. Then you got the Bills, who you've proven you can beat, and the Jets. So, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
we'll end it right there.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe, rate and subscribe to the podcast everywhere. Tucker will takes on all major platforms. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on everywhere where you can find us.
Talk
Mike will
Rule
be
Takes,
back next
baby.
week. Tuck Rule Takes, episode 105 in the books after a big Patriots win. Hopefully we can get to, and it looks like Liam be
Oh, I'm still here. I
is
think
still
he
here.
froze. Yeah. Oh, I'm still here.
Up. So it looks like one of us froze.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
if
you.
that's so if that's the case, I think we should end it right there.
There we
So
go.
let's just end it right here. Ready?
Miss you, Mike.
Sweet feet.
Sweet.
Later.